qanaqa 9 olsam bo'ladi, qanaqa 8 olsam bo'ladi, hammasini ayting iltimos. O'zingiz o'quvchisiz mana. Nimaga 9 olaman? Darsda o'tirsang bo'ldi, sen ham 8 ga chiqib qolasan deb birov kishiga aytib berdim. Birov o'qi IELTS readingni qila olmayapsan, shuning uchun IELTSdan 9 8 ola olmayapsan dedi. All of them are factual, okay? There is no fictional information in IELTS reading. Birorta informatsiya prosta o'zidan yasab qo'yilmagan. Hammasi faktlarga tayangan. IELTS reading hech qachon siradan javobni grammatikadan yoki javobni vocabularydan chiqara olishni so'ramaydi. Mani ustozim ham 9 olganlar, o'quvchilar ham 9 olgan. Men birinchi darslariga borganimda skimming bilan skimmingni menga o'rgatgandilar metodni. O'shandan beri ishlataman. Zo'r ishlayapti. Reading passageni ko'p o'qib, informatsiyani olib analiz qiladigan odam hayotda ham aqlli bo'ladi. Behruz aka, sizda vocabulary normalniy edi, grammatikani hammasini yaxshi bilasiz, shuning uchun 9 olaverasiz. Endi javob topib bilasiz. Menda grammatika unaqa emas-ku, menda vocabulary bunaqa emas-ku. But actually IELTS darsiga xato mindset bilan kiryapmiz. Mana shu ustoz menga 8.5 9 olib beradi readinglar. Yo'q, unaqa emas. Bitta darsda o'tirsang bo'ldi, sen ham 8 ga chiqib qolasan deb birov kishiga aytib berdim hali. Lekin hammada strong intermediate bo'lgan hammada readingdan 9 olish shansi bor.
This is our greatest pleasure again to see you here on another hopefully wonderful masterclass. And first of all, we do appreciate your patience, and I do believe that this will be more than worth it, because today we have a person on the stage who got a band 9, who is a teacher of thousands of students and who's also quite famous for taking interviews from one of the most famous people in the field of education. And you should know like him. And today's topic is going to be about reading. Who likes reading? Please raise your hands if you like reading section of the IELTS exam. Great, great. That's lovely. And what I can tell you is that reading is by far the most important section of the IELTS exam, because if you want to learn new words, you read books. If you want to write great essays, you read books. If you want to develop your ideas in depth, you read books. So this by itself shows how important today's lecture is going to be. But before we get to that part, let me first have, to stick to our traditions, Rustam Umarovich, the head of IBRAT projects, on the stage for the opening speech.
So thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum for everybody who took that offer in person and take part in our beautiful, wonderful event, one of our events of that works under the youth agency called IBRAT Projects. And as a student, like 10 years ago, I wish I could have a teacher like Behruz. I wish I could have the speakers and mentors like we had before now for free, because I didn't have that opportunity. I just keep saying this again and again because I was in the hardship. I didn't have money to study for the IELTS. When I came back from the Malaysia, because my purpose to learn, to grasp that language in Malaysia, and when I came back, I came to realize that I ran out all my money in Malaysia. And all of a sudden, I didn't have my money in my pocket to study IELTS. And I asked my teacher to study IELTS for free. But I promised to return it back. Now, I am going to live up to my promise. And I am trying to spread that knowledge with the help of my team, like Behruz, like you guys, as much as possible. As much as possible till I'm alive on the earth. So, thankful God that I'm here, I'm speaking, you're listening, you understand what I'm talking about. Because this is also the gift being given by God. Because if you don't have any like intelligence to understand what I'm talking about, you know, besides the fact that you know the language, English language, there are a lot of people who are deprived of this talent. They're deaf, they're dumb, they can talk, they can listen. So we have to be more than grateful for the life that we have now. Men aytmoqchi bo'lganim, hamma tushundi, ingliz tilini hamma tushunadi. 8 olganlar bormi oringlarda? 7 olganlarchi? 6 olganlarchi? IELTS olmaganlarchi? Juda ko'p ekan. Unda bizning master classimiz sizlar uchun. Biz 10 yil oldin men aytganman, hamma tushungan. Menimcha oldingi 2 safar kelganlar bormi? Oldingi safar master klassimizga. Men aytgan ekanman, juda ham xursand bo'ldim. Men safiylar ko'payishini xohlayman. Chunki bu yoshlar agentligidan berilayotgan imkoniyat, bizning hurmatli prezidentimiz tomonidan berilayotgan, Alisher Sa'dullayev tomonidan berilayotgan imkoniyat. Men Behruz ozgina vaqtingizni olaman. O'zi bu stage Behruzniki bugun. Men xohlardimki, bu narsa ko'proq odamga yetib borsin. Chunki ozgina sirni ochaman. Bu yo'ga har kuni mana shu yakshanba kunligini o'tkazish uchun 20 milliondan oshiq pul sarflanadi. Shunchaki sizlar bu yerga kelib, qimmatli vaqtinglarni ayamasdan kelib, shunchaki bizlarni eshitib, dars o'rganib, bitta dona harf o'rganib chiqib ketguningizcha 20 million so'mdan ko'proq pul sarflanadi minus plyusi bilan. Menda unaqa imkoniyat bo'lmagan va hozir bizda shunaqa imkoniyat borki, men qidirib yurardim. Qayerga bor ekan, qayerda speakingni rivojlantirar ekan, bo'lib ham gapirmasdan o'tirardim. Chunki uyalardim gapirishga. Ingliz tiliga mana o'qituvchilarimiz o'zingizlar ham bilasizlar, eng zo'r narsa gapirish uchun eng zo'r narsa language barrier degan narsa bor, o'sha narsani yo'qotib olish. Ya'ni eng yomon narsa bolalar nima deb o'ylar ekan, men nima haqida gapirayotganimda, menimcha xatolarimni hozir to'g'irlayapti. Unaqa narsani umuman yo'qotib olish kerak speakingda. Va speakingga eng zo'r tip, meni o'ylashimcha, menimcha Behruz ham rozi bo'lsa kerak bu narsaga reading. Nafaqat speakingga, chunki biz maktabga borganimizda birinchi bo'lib bu A harfi deb yozadi. Sizlar o'qiysizlar. A harfi degandan keyin eshitasizlar. Ya'ni reading ketyapti, listening ketyapti. Endi bolalar yozinglar deydi. A harfini yozasizlar. Oxirgi bo'lib speaking qilasizlar. Ya'ni bolalar ko'p keladiki, men 3 oyda o'qitayotgan paytimizda men 3 oyda men sayrashim kerak. Chunki green card yutganman yoki o'zi meni aytadi-yu, to'g'rini tuxumi kelib qolganda deydi-yu. 4 oy qolganda Singapurga kirmoqchiman, speakingim yo'q, nima qilib bo'lsa ham o'rganishim kerak. Sen 2 yil, 3 yil qayerda eding? Shuncha imkoniyatlar bor edi. Bilmadim deyman. Deydi, shuncha imkoniyatlar boridan, ya'ni unaqa qiladi. Ya'ni hozir hamma narsa bor. 7 oldingmi, marhamat, kompensatsiya ol. 8 oldingmi, kompensatsiya ol. Ish qidiryapsizlarmi ingliz tilida? Biza yaqinda zo'r yangiligimiz bor. IBRAT farzandlari deb atalgan YouTube'da onlayn maktab ochdik. O'sha yerda birinchi bo'lib men o'zimni hayotim haqida ko'rganlar bormi? Qo'lni ko'tarsin. IBRAT farzandlari, bilmaganlar iltimos not qo'ysin. Bu bepulga. O'tda biz hech qanaqa pul ishlashga maqsad unaqa narsa emas. Imkon qadar shu narsa borsa, men hayotim haqida hozir aytib bermoqchi emasman, kimnidir achintirib unaqa narsam yo'q. Shu narsa borsa, ko'pchilik qiziqadi, Toshkent shahrida bo'lib turibsiz, qanaqa sizni uyingiz bo'lmagan bo'lishi mumkin. Men faqat musofirlarni bunaqa boshidan o'tgan narsa deb o'ylardim. Qanaqa qilib siz pulingiz bo'lmagan bo'lishi mumkin? Bo'lgan bunaqa narsa. Chunki ilmning yo'li oson emas hech qachon. Sizlarda hozir oson ketyapti, lekin bizda oson bo'lmagan. Bu darajaga yetguncha endi mana hammada qiyinchilik bo'ladi, sizlarda unaqa qiyinchilik bo'lmasa, men aytayotganim, agar bizga yordam bermoqchi bo'lsanglar, biza bilan yelkama-yelka ishlab, shu biz qilayotgan ishlarni imkon qadar bitta dona odamingizga aytsanglar, o'rtog'ingizga aytsanglar, ki shu yerda baribir bepul dars bo'lyapti, kelib ko'rgan, o'rgangan, balki bunaqa imkoniyat keyin bo'lmas. Balki men ertaga boshqa joyda bo'larman. Because I have no idea how many tomorrows I have to live. Sizlar ham likewise bilmaysizlar qancha tomorrow borligini. Eng yomon narsa ertaga deb qolib yurish. O'shanga mana ibrat farzandlari deb nomlangan. Men bekorga bezga qilmadim. Ingliz tilini zo'r biladigan bolalar bo'lsa, ingliz tilini zo'r biladigan, kamera bilan yaxshi ishlaydigan bolalar bo'lsa, ishlayman degan bolalar bo'lsa, biz ishga taklif qilamiz. Chiqishadi, shaxsan biz bilan gaplashadi, bizning ofisimiz bor, ofisga intervyuga chaqiramiz, ularni part time xolisi full time ishga olamiz. Faqat zo'r kadr bo'lishi kerak. Plus yana xudo xolisi IT da ham biz katta proyektlar qilmoqchimiz. Juda katta proyektlar qilmoqchimiz. O'shanga botga kelishdan sabab faqat ilm o'rganish emas, bu narsani share qilish. O'shanga men xohlardimki, bu narsani faqat sizlar bilan qilamiz. Sizlar как prezident komandasidasizlar. Chunki bitta odam 10 ta o'rtog'i bo'lsa ham, mahallasida har bittasidan aytsa ham bu katta narsa. Biz ya'ni oshnon talab qilayotganimiz yo'q, o'shanga biz juda ham bag'oyatda xursand bo'lardi. Prezidentimizni yoshlarning siyosatini rivojlantirmoqchi bo'lsanglar, ozgina bo'lsa ham hissa qo'shmoqchi bo'lsanglar, mayli u pul bilan bo'lishi mumkin emas, ozgina bo'lsa ham ma'naviy qilib, ozgina aytsa ham, chunki marketingga o'qiganimda word of mouth degan tekin narsa bor. O'sha marketingga o'qiganda, ya'ni baribir influence odamni gapi bilan ko'proq odam influence bo'ladi. Yo'qsa o'rganib narsa qilib, mana Behruz bugun qancha ishlar bo'lishiga qaramasdan hop deb keldilar iltimosimga. Men o'ylaymanki, bugun juda ham zo'r master class bo'ladi. Men aytgan bo'lardim, hamma shu narsani note taking qilib, faqat eshitmasdan yozib, pairwork qilib savollar bo'lsa bemalol Behruzga bersanglar bo'ladi. Ruxsatinglar bilan men mikrofonni Shohrukga beraman. Rahmat hammaga.
Rustam aka, thank you. I'm touched. I'm really touched. And one message I want to share with you is let's spread this knowledge together in the form of gratitude towards all the masterclass that's being held right now. And without any further ado, let me have Tutor Behruz on the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. How are you doing? Yeah, I know that's Sunday, but I expected more. I expected louder applauses. All right, so good. I know that, like, even though most of you raise your hands when Rustam aka asked who loves, or like Shohrukh or Rustam aka, I don't remember actually, I'm so sorry, asked who likes reading, like most of you raise your hands because your peers were raising. I know that most of you hate reading, right? Yeah, let's be honest. Today, hopefully, I'm going to change your mind, all right? And today we're going to see reading from like absolutely another aspect, and we're going to change your, let's say, mindset about IELTS test and how reading actually is, all right? And today I decided to call the session as, can we have the first page? Reading hack. So today we all are going to be hackers here, all right? And we're going to learn how to hack IELTS reading. Well, several years ago, thanks to Rustam aka and like Alisher aka again, like back in 2017 or 18, I don't remember actually, I had my first seminar about reading. And before that seminar, I conducted a survey with IELTS candidates and those who already took IELTS. And I asked them to sort out those like 4 sections of IELTS by their difficulty levels. And like expectedly, most of them were choosing writing or reading as the most difficult sections and listening and speaking as the least, all right, as the easiest tasks. And then I understood, like I tried to dive deep into this topic and learn why actually students think reading is difficult. But actually for me and for most of my students, reading is the easiest part. Why? Well, who thinks reading is the easiest part? Anyone? So let me like have this like short tip and let me prove in seconds why reading is considered as the easiest part of IELTS. Well, first of all, that's your life, all right? Well, that's part of your life. Let's say as a person who knows, let's say 3 or 4 languages, like I never write official things or academic writings, all right? I don't write anything in Uzbek, actually, like I don't remember the last time when I wrote an essay or let's say a statistical report or a descriptive report in Uzbek language, or I have never tried in Russian except like at school. But when it comes to, let's say, reading, this is something that you have to do every day, all right? The first reason is that that's the activity that you do on a daily basis. Secondly, when it comes to listening, this is abstract. You cannot see it, you cannot touch it, you cannot repeat it, right? So this is just played only once. If you lose your concentration for several seconds, you're done. You cannot get it back. Writing and speaking is like productive. You have to create it. That depends on your mood. That depends on the on the person who is sitting next to you, right? And your score depends on the person who is checking your speaking or writing. Well, like that's problematic. Like all Uzbek people know this. That's not a secret, right? But when it comes to reading, that's in your hands. This is just like a crossword. So the answer 9 is already in your hands. The only thing you have to learn is how to use it. We all know shparigalkas, right? That we use at school. So shparigalka is in your hand. All the answers are written on the paper that you're holding. And the only thing we have to do is to have intermediate level of English, intermediate, all right, or above. We have to learn how to find these answers from that crossword. And I'd like to start this session, the official part of session, with a video, all right? We're going to watch a short video about ADHD. Who knows about ADHD? ADHD is something that 9 of 10 of you have already, all right? So I also have ADHD. And if we have, let's say, 150, 200 people here, at least 90% of you have this disorder today, all right? And ADHD is one of the most contemporary disorders that kids, teenagers, and young adults suffer. That stands for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. What does it mean? Like, we cannot concentrate on what we are doing. If we concentrate, that's just short term, all right? We cannot concentrate on the thing or a book that we're reading for, let's say, more than 10 minutes. If we watch, let's say, TikTok videos or YouTube Reels or like Instagram Reels or YouTube short videos, we just enjoy the first 3 or 5 seconds, then we keep swiping, right? That's called ADHD. When you cannot concentrate and when your concentration, your focus is short term. And we're going to watch a short video about ADHD, all right? And then we're going to go on. By the way, watch this video attentively because I'm going to ask some questions about that, all right? And we're going to use it for reading. Video, please.
I took medication when I was a kid. Everyone said I would outgrow it, so I stopped taking the medication in college. Everything is so hard now.
I hate math. It's so boring. I know I'm bad at it, even though my teacher says I'm not.
I'm a failure. I can't remember to do homework, I lose things, I can't get anything right.
I hate feeling like I'm different, but I really am. Work seems like it's easy for everyone else.
These are the voices of people with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD. Millions of American children, teenagers, and adults experience this disorder, which makes it hard to concentrate, pay attention, organize, and focus. Their lives are complicated because of it. I know. One of these voices is mine. I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was 9. Most kids with ADHD start to struggle with symptoms even earlier than that. I first noticed my symptoms in school when we began doing projects that took planning, and I got frustrated a lot. Later, in middle school, I was on the basketball team, but I was always late to practice. Eventually, my teacher called my parents to talk about my grades, since I understood the material, but didn't turn things in on time. At that point, my parents, my coach, and my teacher all compared how things were going. And that's when my parents took me to see my pediatrician. ADHD can show up in 3 different types: inattentive, hyperactive impulsive, and combined. My symptoms were more of the inattentive type. I was having a lot of trouble losing things or forgetting things, not finishing homework, and organizing my work for projects and future assignments. My parents told me at first that they wondered if I had a hearing problem, because sometimes I would look like I didn't hear them when they talked to me. Other children also struggle to keep their attention in class, can look super distracted at home and school, and have trouble with details for things they're not interested in. Kids with more hyperactive or impulsive symptoms have trouble waiting for their turn. They might get up from their seats in class, run around when it's not a good time to do that, talk all the time, interrupt people, or blurt out answers. A lot of times, kids with ADHD can get into trouble, since the symptoms can look like they don't care or aren't respectful of others. But they do care. They just can't control it because of their problem with attention.
ADHD is that's more serious than, let's say, having stress, having depression, having anxiety. Why? Because we don't know that we have actually ADHD. And let's say if we have depression, we suffer depression and we feel it, right? And we seek some, let's say, treatments to it. We see a psychologist, we go and talk to some people, we have a walk and so on. But when it comes to ADHD, you'll be suffering from this illness, from this disorder for a very extended time, but you don't feel it, all right? That's like the scariest part of having ADHD. Well, and this video actually is a part of experiment that we're going to have today with you, all right? And at the end of the session, I'm going to show you the outcomes of this experiment. First, we're going to watch this video together, and then we're going to read some short text about that, and then we're going to move to actual IELTS reading part. And then a very interesting part of session is going to be reading myths. We're going to see what popular myths do we have in Uzbekistan, and we're going to like correct all these myths and errors that you may have. All right. ADHD is one of the most common disorders that teenagers, young adults, and kids have in the US. And there are like 3 types, right? Hyperactive, inattentive, and combined. So this person who is suffering ADHD talked about like what are the symptoms, and said that people feel it, but they cannot find the solution. They cannot find how to solve it, right? And so on. And let's read this text, all right? There is no time limit. Just read and try to understand it, okay? Let's go. Raise your hand if you have finished reading already. All right, good. Yeah. All right. So, is there treatment for against ADHD? Yeah. What is the solution? All right. Okay. So, yeah, with the whole family, right? Like parents can be a solution. Yeah, they need to work with parents, with the family. How many types do we have? How many distinct types do we have? 2, right? What are they? Yeah, hyperactive and inattentive, right? What's the third one? Good, good, good. Now you have only 2 minutes, all right? I'm going to set a timer and stop you after 2 minutes. You have to read and understand this information because we're going to use it for true, false, not given, and multiple choice questions. Let's go. Actually, I set timer for only 1 minute, and you read the first passage in 40 seconds, the same difficulty, the same passage. There was just a second part of that video, all right? I wrote down the text, the subtitles, and divided into 2 parts. The first part took you like about 40 seconds to read, and the second part took you 1 minute and 34 seconds. Now, what does it mean? Look, when I played the video, actually we had some like technical issues, but in an ideal case, you understand the video better than something that you're reading. That's the case with Generation Z, all right? Gen Z, you have heard about that, right? And like when I read this like passage, at a normal pace, it took 36 seconds to read and understand this text. But when I set timer and when I like imagined that I had true, false, and given and multiple choice questions, it took me 1 minute and 9 seconds. The same difficulty, the same passage, the same video, and then text, all right? Now, a question arises. Why? Why is this happening? Well, that's more about your attitude towards reading than your knowledge if you have intermediate or like upper levels of English, okay? So it means reading passages, IELTS reading passages also are they are suitable for a strong intermediate student, and a person with strong intermediate level is capable of easily scoring 9 in reading. The problem is we just have wrong attitude towards it. All right? Now let me explain what's wrong attitude. I know that like people tell me, Behruz aka sizda vocabulary normal edi, grammatikani hammasini yaxshi bilasiz, shuning uchun 9 olaverasiz. Endi siz javob topib bilasiz. Menda grammatika unaqa emas-ku, menda vocabulary bunaqa emas-ku. But actually, if I read that passage that you're reading, I also have tens of unfamiliar words, all right? So find any person who have scored 8, 8.5, or 9 in reading, IELTS reading, and ask them to just highlight the words that are unfamiliar for them. I bet that they have, let's say, more than 20 in 3 passages, all right? The problem isn't about your knowledge. The problem is just here, the psychology, and your attitude towards reading. Well, what should we have now? Actually, you have to love reading passages. Yeah, I know, like, that sounds fancy. That sounds like almost impossible to love reading passages because they are so, like, I don't know how to even call it. So boring, right? So academic, so difficult. Sometimes sentences don't make sense. sometimes we don't understand why they're divided into different paragraphs, right? So it's like, nimaga o'zi bu odam buni yozgan? Kimga kerak edi bunaqa passage? Bir normalniy bir tarixdanmi, bir qiziqroq story yozib qo'ysa bo'lmasmidi degan xayol o'tadi, right? But actually, if you take these all reading passages, they are so useful, so useful that they make you intelligent in life, all right? Reading passage-ni ko'p o'qib, informatsiyani olib analiz qiladigan odam hayotda ham aqlli bo'ladi. Kimdir qarashmi shu gapimga? Sporlashib, keyin samandar sinib o'tirib sessionda gaplashamiz. All right. Reading passages are very interesting. All of them are factual, okay? There is no fictional information in IELTS reading. Birorta informatsiya prosta o'zidan yasab qo'yilmagan. Hammasi faktlarga tayangan, hammasi researchdan kelib chiqqan, hammasi isbotlangan ular passagelar. Okay? Shunaqa ekan, biz aslida uni boshqacharoq qabul qilishimiz kerak. Biz uni xuddi boyagan birinchi videoni ko'rgandek qabul qilishimiz kerak. So, I opened the passage. So it's written like attention deficit hyperactivity disorder in teenagers in Asian countries. So you are a person living in an Asian country, you are a teenager, you're a young adult, right? So you have to accept it in a way that someone is like, you are taking a psychologist for an hour or for 20 minutes. Okay? 20 minutda $200 berib psixologga bor deydi. Senda ADHD bor ekan dedi. Sen Central Aziyada o'zi ko'p o'quvchilar tarqagan ADHD bilan kasallangan ekansan dedi. Shu uchun readingni qila olmayapsan, shu uchun IELTSdan 9-8 ola olmayapsan dedi. Qanaqa bo'ladi ekan eshitishlaringiz? Ayting iltimos mana shu ADHDni ham ayting, solutionni ham bering menga iltimos. Nima qilishim kerak, kimga o'tkazishim kerak, qanaqa 9 olsam bo'ladi, qanaqa 8 olsam bo'ladi, hammasini ayting iltimos deymizmi? Xuddi shunaqa IELTS reading passage ham qabul qilishimiz kerak. IELTS reading passage-larini bilaman, boshida sal zerikarli tuyuladi, qila olmaymiz, qilamiz deymizda, zo'r nastroy bilan o'tiramizda, qarasak oxiri 40 tadan 13 ta chiqqan. 40 tadan 12 ta chiqqan. Bo'ladi, hammada bo'ladi. This is natural. This is natural. Hech kim sizlarga garantiya bermagan, to'g'rimi? Kirasan hozir, borasan mana bu ustozning darsiga. Readingdan zo'r bu, readingni zo'r o'qitadi, o'quvchilar 9-8 olgan. Bitta darsda o'tirsang bo'ldi, sen ham 8 ga chiqib qolasan deb biror kishi garantiya berdimi hali? No. Biror kishi shu bir oy o'qi IELTSni bo'ldi, mana 8.5-9 olasan deb qo'ydimi? No. Nimaga unda expectationni biz shunaqa yuqori qo'yishimiz kerak degan savol tug'iladi. Bu hammasi borib yana o'sha attitude ga taqaladi. Biz oldin o'zi readingni qilishdan oldin, IELTSni boshlashdan oldin xato mindset bilan boryapmiz IELTSga. IELTS darsiga xato mindset bilan kiryapmiz. Mana shu ustoz menga 8.5-9 olib beradi readingdan. Yo'q, unaqa emas. U ustoz olib bo'lgan o'sha 9 ni. Ustoz maza qilib yuribdi, o'zi kitoblar o'qiydi, o'zi qanaqadir narsalarni research qilib yuradi, ADHDmi, nimadirlar, depressionmi, anxietymi, o'shalarni o'qib yuradi o'zicha. No, u sizni o'zingizning responsibilities. To'g'ri, ustozdan so'rash kerak texnikani, ustoz bilan yaqindan ishlash kerak, but everything is in your hands, all right? You are the person that decides your score. Nothing, like no one and nothing can decide it for you. Savol paydo bo'ladi. Bitta ustozda mana Shohruh hozirgacha nechta o'quvchi bo'lgan?
O'zim o'qitgan o'quvchilarmi? 1,5 mingtadan oshiq.
1,5 mingta.
Oshiq.
Nechtasi IELTS readingdan 7+ olgan?
Sanamaganman, lekin
Примерно endi o'sha 1,5 mingta ichida.
No, menga reach qilishgan bo'lsa 50 ta, 60 ta. Namangan.
5 olganlar ham bo'lgan orasida?
Bor chiqadi.
Hammasi bitta o'sha 7+ olgan ham, 5 olgan ham bitta guruhda o'qiganmi?
O'qigan. Bitta guruhda o'qib 5,5 oladigan ham bo'ladi, bitta guruhda o'qib kerak bo'lsa 8,5 oladigan ham bo'ladi. Bu kelayotgan levelga ham bog'liq. Mehnat qilishiga bog'liq kursda.
Thank you. Shunaqa ekan, endi qaranglar. 10 ta o'quvchi keldi yoki mana hozir mana shu yerda hozir 200 ta odam bor. 200 ta odam o'tiribdi-da, men hammaga bir xil programmani, bir xil ustoz, bir xil joyda, bir xil muhitda, bir xil urovingdan даже o'qitilsa ham hammasida bal har xil bo'ladi. Nimaga desa, chunki hammada attitude har xil. To'g'ri attitude-ni topib olgan o'quvchi bo'ldi, IELTS normalniy bo'la oladi. U butun umr yaxshi reader bo'ladi o'zi. Hayotda yaxshi o'qigan narsasini yaxshi analiz qilib biladigan, yaxshi tushunadigan odamga aylanadi. Shu uchun oldin, boshlashdan oldin o'tirib, 1,5 soat bitta xonada qamalib olib, stulchikni qo'yib o'tirib o'ylash kerak. O'zi menga IELTSdan yuqori ball kerakmi? Readingdan o'zi yuqori ball kerakmi menga? Men o'zi nima qilaman IELTSdan degan savollar kelib boshlasa, yaxshi, zo'r. Critical thinking ishlayapti. Demak, hali to'xtab qolmaganman bu. Hali umid bor. Keyin readingni o'zi nima bu reading deb anglash kerak. Nima bu desa, bu qanaqadir bir qilingan scientific researchni intermediate yoki strong intermediate o'quvchi uchun moslangan varianti. O'zidan so'rayman, qanaqa o'rganman? B2 man o'rganim. Bizdan 9 olishga imkonim bor. Nima qilaman? Bilmayman. Nima qilishni bor ustozdan so'rayman keyin. Alright? U nima qilishini to'g'risida ustoz ko'rsatadi. Lekin oldin mana shu savolni bera olinglar o'zlaringizga. Hali odam o'zini tayyorlash kerak oldin reading uchun, okay? Yana boyaga gapimni aytaman. 8 o'rganam, 8,5 o'rganam, 9 olgan odamda ham xuddi siradaqa vocabulary bor. U ham hamma narsani tushunavermaydi readingda. Reading, like IELTS reading never requires you to work with grammar or it never, let's say, links the answer with the vocabulary, okay? So with some unfamiliar words. GMAT o'qinglar ko'rasizlar. So'z readingda so'z qanaqa savolga bog'lab qo'yilishini. SAT o'qinglar ko'rasizlar, grammatikaga qanaqa bog'lab qo'yilishini. IELTS reading hech qachon siradan javobni grammatikadan yoki javobni vocabularydan chiqara olishni so'ramaydi. U nima qiladi? Shunchaki general meaning tushun deydi, bo'ldi javob topasan deydi. General meaningni tushunish uchun bizani bitta uzun 10 ta gapli, 10 ta so'zli gapimizda 4 tasini olib tashlasam ham baribir general meaning chiqarib tashlasa bo'ladi. Chiqarib olsa bo'ladi qisqasi. O'zbek tilida ham, rus tilida ham, xuddi shunaqa ingliz tilida ham. Okay? Xuddi shunaqa ekan, o'zi boshidan expectationni shunga moslab borish kerak. Ya'ni men hozir borganimdan prям 30 ta topamas ekanman. 30 ta topishni o'zini etaplari bor. Men hozir boshida 10 ta topa olay, keyin 13 taga harakat qilaman, keyin 15 taga harakat qilaman, keyin 20 taga, 25 taga, 30, 35, keyin 40 ga chiqaman deb. No, men intermediatmanmi, iloji bor mana shuni. No, sal vaqt kerak, ustoz bilan ishlashim kerak degan expectation bo'lish kerak. Okay? Lekin hammada strong intermediate bo'lgan hammada readingdan 9 olish shansi bor. Endi savol paydo bo'ladi. Vashe bir oson qilib yordingiz hamma narsani. O'quvchi keldi darsga, o'qidi, bo'ldi 9 olib ketaveradimi 3-4 oydan keyin. Shunaqa bo'lsa, qani men o'rtog'im zo'r ustozda o'qidi, o'z o'quvchisiz mana, nimaga 9 ololmadi degan savol paydo bo'ladi. To'g'ri. Meni o'quvchilarim hammasi ham 8-9 olavermaydi readingda. Meni o'zimning o'quvchilarim ham 6-6,5 bor. Muammo nimada desa, muammo miflarda, afsonalarda. Reading haqida juda ham bizda ko'p afsonalar bor. Mana bu Cambridge format, ya'ni tilida ekzaminda berilishi mumkin bo'lgan tekst. Bilasizlar, Cambridge format eng reliable. So if you want to do reading, if you want to have a good mock exam, take this mock exam from like Cambridge sources, all right? Because it shows your authentic score. Like this is not biased, all right? Now, bizda mana bunaqa hozir paragraf bor. Ko'pchilik nima qiladi? Shunaqa zo'r bitta sekretni o'rganib olganman YouTubedan yoki qanaqadir bir IELTS o'qigan o'rtog'dan yoki ustozdan aytirgan unga. Birinchi gapni bitta o'qiysan, oxirgisini bitta o'qiysan, bo'ldi, javob chiqadi. Men bilgan 9 dan hammasi shunaqa qiladi. Shuning uchun ular 40 minutda tugatib qo'yadi, 1 soatda emas degan. Gap eshitilgan. Bo'ldi deymanda, o'qiyman. These circumstances could have caused great social trouble, but they were relatively few serious problems. Done. Eng muhim joyi great social trouble oxiridagi few serious problems, ha? Keywordlar. Bo'ldi, oxirgisini o'qiymiz. Older children went to school in Kuma, the nearest major town. Ya'ni boshqa shaharga chiqib maktabga borishgan ekan. Bolalar. Qiyinchilik, problema, tepadagi problema. To'g'rimi? Take some time. 1 minute to get the answer. Raise your hand if you think it's 1. Raise your hand if you think it's 2. 3. 4. 5. All right, 10. Yeah. And the vijdonan 10. All right, good. So, hozir men o'quvchi bo'lsam, meni o'sha ustozi readingdan krutoy bo'lgan o'rtog'imni gapini eshitadigan bo'lsam, uni aytganini qiladigan bo'lsam, men o'ndan olishim kerak, to'g'rimi? Nimaga? Chunki social problem, boshqa shaharga borib maktabga borish social problem hisoblanadi. Tepada problema haqida gapirilgan birinchi gapda ham, oxirgi gapda ham. Endi qaytamiz passagega. Endi to'g'ri o'qiymiz. These circumstances could have caused great social trouble, but they were relatively few serious problems. Tepada qanaqadir circumstance berilgan, o'sha muammoni keltirib chiqarish mumkin degan. The man worked long and hard, and many saved their money with a view to settling in Australia or returning home. Qisqasi pul ishlashgan ekan, ularning o'z maqsadi yo Avstraliyada qolish, yo uyga qaytish bo'lgan ekan, ishchilarni. To'g'rimi? Pul ishlab topib, yo qolish yo ketish. At a reunion in 1999, many were happy to remember the hardships of those days, but it was all seen through a glow of achievement. 99-yilda reunion bo'lgan ekan, yig'ilish bo'lgan ekan. Ular o'tirib olib eslashgan. Hardshiplarimiz bo'lardi, those daysda, mana hozir hammasi zo'r bo'lib ketdi, achievementlarga erishdik deb prosta eslashgan o'sha muammolarni. This satisfaction was felt not only by the men who worked directly on the project, but by the women, many of whom had been wives and mothers during the scheme, and indicated that they had felt very much part of it. Erkaklar ishlagan ekan, ayollar uyda o'tirgan bo'lsa ham, o'sha painni his qilishgan, o'sha qiyinchiliklarni his qilishgan ekan. The children of these couples went to school in Happy Jack, a town notable for having the highest school in Australia and the highest birth rate. In one memorable year, there were 30 babies born to the 80 families in Happy Jack. Older children went to school in Kuma, the nearest major town. Endi yana qayta o'qiymiz. Using sign language haqida bormidi? Bo'ldi, chiqib ketdi. The workers and their families. Workers givenmi? Their families givenmi? Butun paragrafning hamma gaplarida givenmi yoki qanaqadir bitta qismida givenmi? Mana workers bitta qismida given, families ikkinchi qismida given, women, wives and children. Bo'ldi, yaxshi variant. Development of inland development yo'q edi umuman. The coast of the snowy mountains scheme ham yo'q, cost ham yo'q. The unique nature of the scheme. Unique qanaqadir feature yo'q, chiqarib olamiz. Housing the snowy mountains workforce. Ularga uy topish muammosi, accommodation muammosi bormi? Yo'q. Why the snowy mountains scheme began? Nimaga boshlandi bu sxema? No. Learning new ways to communicate? No. Recruiting people for the snowy mountains scheme? Social problems of the workforce? Only in the first sentence. Right? In the bo'ldimi ishondinglarmi gapimga? List of headings is not about just reading the first and last sentences, all right? So this is something more serious. This is something easier than you thought, actually, all right? This is not a word game. This is something that we do in Uzbek or Russian language on a daily basis. O'zbek tilida, rus tilida ham prosta informatsiyani o'qiymiz-ku boshdan oxirigacha, to'g'rimi? Ma'lumot olish uchun. Novosti chiqib qoldi. Endi O'zbekistonda IELTS bepul bo'lar ekan. Ichiga kirib polni o'qib chiqamiz, yo birinchi gapini oxirgi gapini o'qib bo'ldi ketaveramiz. No. Hammasini o'qiymiz, a? Xuddi o'shanaqa ish. Qanaqadir bir secretlari, qanaqadir hacking metodlari yo'q. Prosta olib o'qish kerak. Ma'noni chiqarib, javobni tanlash kerak bo'ladi. All right? I have the right attitude now. Like, can I score 9? degan savol tug'iladi. Bo'ldi, men oldindan o'zim tayyorlab oldim. Expectationlarimni to'g'riladim. Reading qanaqaligini tushunib oldim. Reading qiziq narsa ekan o'zi. Meni aqlliroq qilar ekan. Xuddi documentary filmga o'xshar ekan. Men YouTube'da ko'rayotgan videolarga o'xshar ekan. O'zi strong intermediate uchun yaratilgan narsa ekan bu. Men 9 olishim mumkin ekan. Ustozdan so'rasam, yordam olsam, texnikalarni o'rganib olsam bo'ldi, hammasi zo'r ekan. Men 9 olsam bo'lar ekan degan fikr paydo bo'lib qoladi. Bu narsa o'zi yaxshi. No. Uyga boramizda o'tirib shunaqa motivatsiya bilan yana bitta reading olib qilsak, yana 20 ta. Yana 9 emasda. Yoki 1 oy o'qidik. 1,5 oy o'qidik. Bo'ldi, endi menimcha normallik bo'lgandir deb yana bitta mock topishamiz, yana 25 ta. Yoki oxirgi passage suriga o'sib qo'ya qolamiz. Bo'ladimi shunaqa? Passage 1-2 ni qilamizda, bitta soatga qarasak, o'sha 50 minut bo'lgan, 55 minut bo'lgan. Passage 3 ga o'sib qo'yamiz, yana qaraymiz, maksimum hammasini zo'r ishlagan taqdirda ham 6,5 olamiz 28 ta qilib, to'g'rimi? 26 tami necha chiqadi endi? 26 ta chiqargan. 26 ta chiqadi, yana 6,5. 25 ta bo'lsa, o'sha bo'ldi 6 yana. Endi nima qilamiz? We now have to learn question types. Endi o'sha IELTS-ni biz o'zi IELTS-ni ustozdan nimasini o'rganishimiz kerak desa, mana bunisini o'rganishimiz kerak. Ustoz sizga hech qachon qanaqa o'qishni o'rgata olmaydi. O'qishni u maktabda 1-sinfda o'rganamiz. O'zbek tilida ham, rus tilida ham, boshqasida ham, to'g'rimi? U kelib, "Mana bunaqa o'qiysan, ma'lumotni mana bunaqa qilib o'rganasan, kallangni mana bunaqa ishlatasan, logikani mana bunaqa ishlatasan" deb hech qaysi ustoz sizga o'rgata olmaydi. Buni iloji yo'q. Shunchaki ustoz sizga question typesni o'rgatishi mumkin, texnikalarni o'rgatishi mumkin. Qanaqa qilib har bitta question type'ni qilishni. Endi bizda mana muammolilarni hozir men yozib qo'ydim bu yoqda. True false and given hammada muammo, to'g'rimi? Tan olaylik, false bilan given faqat adashtiramiz. Hozir yana uni ham practice qismida birgalikda qilamiz. True false and given, yes or not given hammada problem bo'lib kelgan O'zbekistonda. Natural, oddiy qabul qilish kerak. Qiyin narsa o'zi. Hammada muammo. Paritsiya qilishga nima yo'q, nima deydi? Like there is no need, all right, to worry, to be anxious about it, to be depressed, to be stressed, to like sit and think why everyone can do it and like my score is always like lagged behind because of true, false, and given or yes or not given. This is natural, all right? It happens. Matching headings bilan matching paragraphs. Boyagi. Muammolar bor. Hammada muammo bor. Hammasini to'g'ri qildim deb o'ylaymiz, yana tekshirsa yana xato bo'ladi ichida. Matching features eng qiyinlardan bittasi. Matching endings bor, ha? Ikkita qismi ham paraphrase qilingan bo'ladi. Va shu qiyin. Multiple choice, gap fillingni bir nechta turi bor, hammamiz bilamiz. Muammolar bor mana shunaqa. Bularda o'zi sizlarga ustoz kerak bo'ladi. Instruktor mana bu narsani sizlarga endi o'rgatadi, qanaqa qilishni. All right? This like exercises, this question types now. Birinchi o'rinda shuni tushunib olish kerak. It's not a word game, okay? IELTS ni reading ham, listening ham qanaqadir bir so'zlarni oradan tuta olasan degan bu igra emas bu. Okay? Listeningda misol uchun senga bitta o'z audioni qo'yib beramiz. Orada u toni balandroq bo'lgan so'zlarni menga topib yozasan yoki orada nounlarni ajratib menga yozib berasan yoki verblarni yozib berasan degan exercise emas bu. Readingda ham misol uchun sizlar matching qilyapsizlar. Matchingda names berilgan, scientist names berilgan yoki years berilgan. O'shani tepadan topib javobni topib qo'y degan narsa emas IELTS. IELTS sizlardan bunaqa narsani talab qilmaydi. IELTSni sizlardan talab qilayotgan narsasi nima o'zi? Kim menga eng zo'r javob berib beradi? Qisqacha qilib. IELTS o'zi readingda bizdan nima qilishimizni xohlaydi? Comprehension qilishimizni. Comprehension qanaqa qilinadi o'zi? Hamma gapiradi faqat comprehension deb gapiradi. Qanaqa qilinadi o'zi comprehension? Aha, yes. Birinchi o'zi IELTSning talabi tekst boshdan oxirigacha o'qilishi kerak. U o'qish uchun berilgan. U bilan o'ynash uchun emas. This is not a word game again, all right? Qanaqadir bittani sentence completionda borib, tak, effect ekan, effektdan keyingi so'zni topishim kerak, tepaga chiqib izlab kel degan exercise emas bu, IELTS reading, okay? IELTS reading o'zlariga qo'yayotgan birinchi requirement, you have to read the passage fully. You have to read each paragraph separately, okay? And you have to be able to extract the general meaning of the paragraphs. And sometimes you are asked to find details. Let's say in true, false, not given, you're asked to find details. In yes or not given, you're asked to extract the general meaning of the paragraph, okay? In list of headings, you need to find the general idea again. In matching paragraphs, you need to find details. All right? Yani birinchi o'zi talabi IELTS readingni boshdan oxirigacha o'qish ekan. Scanning and skimming hali u haqida gaplashamiz. All right? Bilamiz, ha? IELTS YouTube ga yozamiz. IELTS reading secrets chiqib keladi. Scanning and skimming explained in 2 minutes. IELTS reading 9 in 3 minutes. Watch till the end. The most interesting part is at the end, right? Mana shu qilib chiqib kelaveradi. Hali u haqida o'zi gaplashamiz, scanning and skimming haqida. Xo'p, birinchidan o'zi biz exerciselarni qaysilari in order, qaysilari out of order kelishini bilishimiz kerak. Nimaga desa, men по-любому qanaqa exercise berilishidan qat'iy nazar, men tekstni to'liq o'qishim kerak ekan, to'g'rimi? Endi muammo paydo bo'ladi. Vaqtga ulgurish uchun, 60 minutda tugatish uchun men paragraflarni faqat bir marta o'qishim kerak. Qaysi paragrafni 2-3 marta o'qiyapsan, bo'ldi, уже svetxo'yasiz degani. Xuddi boya u sessionni boshida o'qigan ikkita tekstimizdek. Birinchisida men sizlarga time limit bermadim. Sal relaxedroq variantda o'qidinglar. Bir marta o'qish yetdi, hamma general meaning chiqara oldi. Ikkinchisida bizda 2 minut bor, true false so'rayman, multiple choice so'rayman dedim, bo'ldi уже, boshlandi. Birinchi gapni o'qiymiz-da, yo'q, shoshma, yana boshdan. Yana birinchi gapni o'qiydi, ikkinchi gapni o'qishib, uchinchi gapni o'qib, uchinchi gapni yarmini tushunmadim. Yana qayta uchinchi gapni o'qiyapmiz, to'g'rimi? Mana shu qanaqadir o'zi pressure bo'lganda, bizning comprehension levelimiz unconsciously tushadi, okay? Xohlaysizmi, xohlamaysizmi? Comprehension pressure bilan tushadi. Nima qilish kerak? Shunga tayyor turish kerak. Biling, shu comprehension tushirar ekan. Time limit 60 minut qo'yilgan time limit, all right? Biz nima qilamiz, qaranglar. In order exercise berilgan любой paragrafni oldin exercisedagi questionni o'qib olgandan keyin o'qiymiz. Misol uchun bizda true false and given bitta multiple choice, bitta sentence completion bor. Bu exerciselar in order kelishi aniq. Ya'ni true false ning birinchi savoli ikkinchisidan oldin kelishi aniq, 100%. Multiple choice ning birinchi savoli 2-3 turidan oldin kelishi aniq. Sentence completion ham xuddi shunaqa. Hammasini birinchi savollarni o'qib olinglar. Keyin boshdan o'qib kelaveringlar. Qaysi chiqsa to'xtaysizlar, bo'lmasa vaqt to'xtamaysizlar. A paragrafni o'qib bo'ldim, ichidan chiqmadi hech qaysi, bo'ldi, ketdi musorga. Qaytib o'qish kerak emas uni. Okay? Ya'ni paragrafni qayta o'qirsa, конечно, odam uspet qilmaydi. Конечно, keyin stress yig'ilib kelaveradi. Out of order berilsa nima qilinadi desa, out of order exercise'da berilganda oldin biz paragrafni o'qiymiz, keyin buraya kelamiz. Endi savol paydo bo'ladi. Bu ham bu ham berilsa-chi degan. Nima qilamiz o'shanda? Birinchi out of orderlarni qilib, kim buni qilish kerak desa? Ha, teskarisi. Mayli. Yaxshi. Aha. Yaxshi. Xo'p, endi birinchi variantni ko'rib chiqamiz mana bo'lishini. True false givenni boshda qilamiz. Tekstni yarmini o'qib bilamiz, to'g'rimi? Paragraf 1 dan bitta javob chiqdi, paragraf 2 dan ikkita javob chiqdi, paragraf 3 dan bitta javob chiqdi, bo'ldi уже, o'tdi. Endi qarasam list of heading ham bor ekan. Endi yana boshdan o'qiyman. Mana muammo nimada? Nima qilish kerak desa, ikkalovi berilgan paytda out of order day qilinadi. Ya'ni birinchi paragraf A o'qiladi, oxirida bitta pauza qilinadi, qani list of headings javob bormi? Qani true false javob bormi tekshirib olinadi. Alright? Qisqasi, sirada shunaqangi bir tasavvur bo'lsin. Harry Potter hamma ko'rgan-a? U bitta kitob bo'lardi. So'zlar paydo bo'lib kelaveradi, o'qigandan keyin yo'qolib ketaveradi, fade bo'lib ketaveradi. To'g'rimi? Harflar, so'zlar yo'qolib kelaveradi. Xuddi shunaqa tasavvur qilinglar, IELTS reading passage. Bir marta o'qishingizga imkon berilgan. Bir marta o'qidingiz, paragraf A yo'q endi. Paragraf B ni bir marta o'qiysiz, yo'qolib qoladi. Xuddi mana shunaqa mindset bilan qilinadigan bo'lsa, in orderlarni ham, out of orderlarni ham qanaqa qilishni o'zi miyani o'zi solution topib beradi sizlarga. Okay? O'qib ol hozir A ni deydi. Keyin list of heading ga bitta borib qaraysan, true false ga bitta borib qaraysan. True false bo'lishib, 50-50 chiqib qolishi ham mumkin, chiqmasligi ham mumkin. List of headingsni ol oldin, keyin mana bunga boramiz degan solution beradi o'zi miya, okay? Mana shu narsa iltimos eslardan chiqmasin. Do it in a way that you're given that book from Harry Potter, all right? So the words, the paragraphs fade once you read it. Okay? Kelishdingmi? Qilib ko'ramiz ham bugun. All right. Next, keyingisi. The main rule, the secret of IELTS reading. There is no way to hack reading. O'zi aslini oladigan bo'lsak, hech qanaqa sekreti yo'q. Ya'ni, bo'yiga list of headings sekreti bor edi-ku. Hamma sekretlar xuddi shunaqa. True false ni qanaqadir zo'r sekreti bo'lsa, o'sha ham xuddi list of headingsnikida bo'lib chiqadi. Oxiri qarasanglar ishlamaydigan narsa bo'lib qoladi. Lekin bizda bir necha steplar bor. Bizda the steps that we have to consider. First, don't just look through, read and understand the passage, all right? The whole passage. Don't just look through the sentences. Ba'zilar borda, ko'ra oladi, ikkita in order exercise bor. Faqat mana shu keywordlar chiqadigan joyini o'qiyman, qolgan joydan ustidan shunday bitta o'tib ketsam o'zi bo'ladi, menga yetadi o'sha deydi. Bo'lganmi shunaqa fikr? True false given bor, sentence completion bor. Ikkalovi ham in order kelinadi. Ikkalovini ham birinchi savolni men yodlab olganman, bilaman hozir. Nimani qidiryapsan desa, men aytib bilaman. Bo'ldi, men faqat mana shunaqa gapni to'liq o'qisam, qolganlarini prosta ignore qilaversam bo'laveradi degan fikr paydo bo'lib qolishi mumkin. No. IELTS bu uchun yaratilmagan. IELTS bunaqa word game uchun chiqarilmagan, okay? IELTS reading passage. U hamma gapni o'qigandagina 9 ol biladi o'quvchi deb chiqarilgan. Hamma gapni o'qish qiyin ish emas. Baribir o'qiysizlar o'sha ishoninglar. True false qilib berasizlar, sentence completion qilaman deysizlar, yana qaytib o'sha joydan baribir o'qiysizlar. Shuning uchun bir marta o'qib qo'yinglar, yetadi o'shani o'zi. Next. Scanning and skimming is a big lie. Endi mana shu yoqda hozir spor paydo bo'ladi. Mana ustozim ham 9 olganlar, o'quvchilar ham 9 olgan. Men birinchi darslarga borganimda scanning bilan skimmingni menga o'rgatgandilar metodni. O'shandan beri ishlataman. Zo'r ishlayapti. To'g'ri, zo'r ishlaydi. Sizda zo'r ishlaydi. Chunki sizda upper intermediate yoki advanced English bor. Sizda zo'r ishlaydi chunki siz o'zbek tilida ham zo'r readersiz. Sizda zo'r ishlaydi chunki sizda readingni orqada katta bagaj yotibdi sizda. Siz IELTS readingdan oldin juda ko'p o'qib yurgan odam bo'lgansiz. Ishlaydi, 8 gacha ishlash mumkin. 8.5 9 olish scanning and skimming bilan almost impossible, all right? Men misol uchun scanning and skimming bilan umuman 9 ola olmayman. Men o'zim mana shu narsaga ishonchim komil. Lekin men tekstni boshdan oxirigacha o'qisam, ishonchim komil 9 olib beraman sizlarga. Любойni olib kelinglar. Reading IELTS readingini. So, scanning and skimming kimda ishlaydi desa, o'sha kimdir o'zi readingni o'rganib bo'lgan, o'zi reading nimaligini juda ham yaxshi biladi. U o'qib yurgan odam o'zi, upper intermediate yoki advanced uroveni bor uni. U tekstni bitta o'zi qarab chiqsa, umumiy ma'nosini chiqarib biladi uni ichidan. O'shanda scanning va skimming yordam berishi mumkin. U ham 8 gacha yordam berishi mumkin. 8:30 9 da o'sha yordam bermay qoladi. All right? That's why please never rely on, never count on scanning and skimming method. That was a big lie that was told to us, all right? Bizdan shuncha vaqt mana scanning skimming bilan aldab kelishgan. Scanning skimming xuddi vaqtni tejayotgandek tuyuladi, ha? Bo'lganmi shunaqa? Bo'lganmi? Bilasizlarmi scanning skimming nima? Chota menga sal kutilmagan nigohlar qaratilib turibdi. Scanning skimming biladiganlar o'zi bitta like raise your hands please. All right, okay, good. Почти hamlarga. Scanning qanaqadir ma'lumotni izlash uchun tekstni ustidan yugurib chiqish. Skimming prost umumiy ma'nosini chiqarib olish uchun ustidan yugurib o'tish. Baribir yugurib o'tish. Okay, unaqasi ham, bunaqasi ham. Yugurib o'tish yaramaydi. Sekin-sekin shoshmasdan o'qish kerak. Next, step 2. Understand the question well, don't play a word game. What does it mean? Sentence completion exercise mana. Summary completion exercise. Ba'zida nima qiladi? Faqatgina o'ziga kerakli bo'lgan gapdan oldingi va keyingi so'zni o'qiydi, bo'lib topa olaman shundan deydi. Bo'lgan u gap. Affect something yozilgan, yo affectni, yo impact, influence, cause, mana shunaqa so'zni topa olsam bo'ldi, javob topaman deydi, tepaga chiqib ketib qoladi. Yoki matching exercise. Scientist names berilgan, ha? Mana scientist name ni ko'rsam, bo'ldi, o'sha o'zi menga aytadi deydi, yana tepaga chiqib ketib qoladi. Bo'lmaydi bunaqa yaramaydi, okay? Savolni o'zi nimani so'rayotganligini yaxshilab tushunib olish kerak bo'ladi. Next, make sure you're reading the passage once and know the techniques. Bu boyagi gap. Bir marta o'qisagina 60 minutda yoki undan oldinroq tugatsa bo'ladi. O'zi aslida reading passagelari 40 minutda, 45 minutda tugatiladi. O'zi standart timingi shunaqa. Plus institutga ko'chirish bilan 5 minut mayli tanish bilish bolalarga podashka qilaveraylik deb IELTS o'zi sizlarga 1 soat qilib bergan. Lekin bunda olib qarasa 45 minutda bemalol tugatsa bo'ladigan ish bu. Okay? Mana shu narsani yaxshilab tushuna olinglar. Ham bitta narsa mana shu joyda aytmoqchi edim. Endigina IELTS ni boshlagan o'quvchi ham men to'g'ri javobni topaman, ham tekstni to'liq o'qiyman, ham 1 soatda tugataman deyishi eng katta xato. Qilmanglar unaqa. Sizlar hozir javobni topishni o'rganinglar. Javobni topishni o'rgangandan keyin texnikani o'rganasizlar. Har bitta exercise texnikasini. Uni o'rgangandan keyin 2-3 exercise birdaniga qilishni o'rganasizlar. Undan keyin oxirida vaqtni ustida ishlaysizlar. Hozir hammasini birdaniga qilaman desak, bo'ldi anu. O'zbek tilida gap bor-ku, ikkita qayiqni ushlagan, nima? Ikkita qayiqni ushlagan korrekt cho'kadi. Iloji yo'q boshqa. Xuddi shunaqa qilib, hammasini birdaniga chiqaraman degan fail bo'ladi, aniq bu. Speaking ham xuddi shunaqa. Ham fluently gapiraman, ham tez gapiraman, ham academic vocabulary gapiraman, ham grammatikani zo'r qilaman, ham pronunciationim zo'r bo'ladi birdaniga deb IELTS ni o'qishni boshlagan o'quvchi IELTS ni tashlab ketish ehtimoli juda ham katta. Reading ham xuddi shunaqa. Men sraz 9 ga, sraz 8 ga, 7:30 ga chiqib qolaman, sraz 1 soat tugataman degan o'quvchi IELTS ni tashlab ketish ehtimoli juda ham katta. Okay? That's why hammasi payetapdan bo'ladi. Endi o'sha hammamiz yaxshi ko'rgan true false kelman, yes or not kelmanga kelamiz. All right. Yana Cambridgedan bu ham. Cambridge official guide. To'liq reliable source bu. Bizda true false kelgan savollar bor. Hozir biz 6 bilan 8 ni qilamiz. Keyin endi 6 ni oldin o'qib olamiz. Boya aytganimizdek, in order exerciselarda oldin savolni tushunib olamiz, to'g'rimi? Archaeologists realized that the boat had been damaged on purpose. Arxeologlar shuni anglashibdiki, что kema, boat, qayiq ataylabdan buzilgan, ataylabdan damage qilingan. Joy ajratib berilgan. You have 1 minute to read those like 2 parts, all right? Above this line, and we're going to choose the answer together. So, let's read it. I'll remind you the question. Archaeologists realized that the boat had been damaged on purpose. True false givenni eng zo'r qilish usuli qanaqa? Mana o'zimning experiencedan kelib chiqayotgan bo'lsam, savolni oldin berilgan informatsiyani pozitiv sanasam bu, darak gap bu. Shuni so'roq gapga aylantiramiz. O'zbek tilida o'zimizdan so'raymiz. Arxeologlar qayiq ataylabdan buzilgan deganmi degan savolni o'zimizga beramiz. Raise your hand if you think it's true. Raise your hand if you think it's false. Raise your hand if you think it's not given. All right, good. The right answer is that starts with the word the boat wasn't, all right? That the last part. The boat wasn't a wreck, but had been deliberately discarded, dismantled, and broken. Perhaps it had been ritually killed at the end of its life like other Bronze Age objects. All right. Wreckni nimaligini bilmaymiz, to'g'rimi? Wreckni bilmaymiz nimaligini. Deliberately ham ba'zilar bilmaydi. Yarim menimcha 50 yillik bu hozir. Ba'zilar biladi, ba'zilar bilmaydi. Discardedni bilmaymiz. Dismantledni bilmaymiz. Lekin brokenni bilamiz nimaligini. To'g'rimi? Menda ham shunaqa, men ham bilmayman. Men bilmasam ham general meaning chiqarishim menga yetadi o'zi. Endi qaranglar. Discarded, dismantled, broken nima bilan bir-biriga ulanyapti? Yeah, it's like damage-ni tushunib turibmiz nimaligini-da. Tepa undan oldin kelgan ikkita so'zni tushunmaymiz. Orasida nima bor o'shalarni? And va comma. And va comma bizaga bu ikkita so'z ham broken bilan sinonim yoki ma'nosi yaqinligini anglatadimi? Bo'ldi, kim sizlardan so'rayapti? O'sha olib mana anu IELTS da sirazu kelibdi, examiner yoningizga dismant tarjima qilib berasan, qilolmasang o'sha turingni hisobga olmaymiz, dedim biror kishi sizlarga. Yoki kelib dismantle demanga definition yozib berasan, turuni isbotlaysan, isbotlolmasang bo'ldi, sendan balni olib tashlaymiz, deydimi? Demaydi hech kim bunaqa. Bunaqa universitetda shunaqa bo'ladi, to'g'ri. Biz universitetda o'qiganda shunaqa bo'lardi. To'g'ri javobni olsak ham, baribir isbotini ko'rsat derdi. Yo, oldik-ku ustoz endi desa, yo'q derdi. Sen prosta taxmin qilgan bo'lishing mumkin, isbotlaysan, keyin bo'ladi derdi. Xuddi shunaqa qilib, IELTS'dan u narsani hech qachon so'ramaydi. Broken tushunib qoldinglar ham bo'ldi o'zi. Deliberately degani ataylab degani o'zi. Deliberately bilmaydiganlar uni ham tushunmadi. Shunchaki tushundi, shu buzilgan ekanmi, to'g'rimi? Broken bo'lgan ekan boat. Deliberately hech topolmayapti. Yonida dictionary, Google Translate yo'q, examenda turibdi. Keyin gapni bitta o'qisa, yana kelib chiqadi javob. Perhaps it had been ritually killed. What's a ritual? Ritual. Rus tilida ham bor, bu so'z. Nima edi? Odat, qanaqadir bir odatlar, urf-odatlar degan, to'g'rimi? Qo'shroqcha nima deb qaranglar. Ritually killed degani xuddi urf-odatlar bo'lgan, shunaqa killing qilingan ekan at the end of its life like other Bronze Age objects. Ya'ni u shu urf-odatlarga ko'ra o'ldirib yuborilgan bo'lishi ham mumkin ekan boat. Ya'ni bu narsani umumiy ma'nosini chiqaradigan bo'lsam, ataylab buzilgan ekanmi yo o'zi buzib qo'ygan ekanmi? Ataylab buzilgan ekan. Aslini oladigan bo'lsak, wreck degani was not a wreck degani bu xuddi bir avariyaga o'xshagan so'z. Kutilmaganda o'zi buzilib qolsa wreck deyiladi. Deliberately degani ataylab degani, discarded anu ishlatishdan chiqarib yuborish, dismantledni bilmayman nimaligini. Bilishim kerak emas, hech kim mendan so'ramaydi uni. All right? Readingda Cambridge formatlarida bizada scientists thought, it was mentioned, it was found, it's stated, it's proven, it's suggested degan gaplarni biza prosta ignore qilishga haqqimiz bor. Cambridgeda. Boshqa kitoblarni bilmayman. Boshqa kitoblarga garantiya beraman. Examinda ham, Cambridge format kitoblarida ham bizada main point unda bo'lmaydi. Main point bu yoqda bizada. Bu xuddi writingda o'quvchi kirish so'zlariga ko'p e'tibor beraveradi, kirish so'zlarni chiroyli qilib yozib tashlaydi. Introduction vasha chiroyli yozilganda, pastga tushadigan bo'lsangiz, ideya like elementary, beginner уровеньda yozilsa qanaqa bo'ladi? Xuddi shunaqa. Archaeologists realized degan narsa hozir main point unda emas. Main point bu yoqda. Buni qanaqa atasak bo'ladi? Occasionda. Bizda occasion nima? Arxeologlar aytmaganligi emas. Occasionimiz bu yoqda bizda. All right? Shuning uchun it's stated, it was proven, mana bunaqa gaplar bizda hozir rol o'ynamaydi. Buni hozir 8 da yana ko'ramiz. Okay? 8 da yana xuddi shunaqa bo'ladi 8 da ham. True false not given da javob bitta gapdan olinishi kerak yoki ikkita gapdan olinishi kerak. Yes not given da tepadan o'qib kelib keyin olinishi kerak. True false not given javobimiz yo bitta yo ikkita gapning ichida yashiringan. Siz bunaqa juda ham chuqur o'ylab orishingiz sizning zararingizga ishlaydi. Juda ham chuqur o'ylab orasizda, yo men tepadan o'qib kelaman, hozir true false deysizda, tepadan o'qib kelsangiz, kelguncha chalib qolasiz. Chuqur o'ylaganingіз uchun bo'ldi, xato javob ketib qoladi. O'zbek tiliga tarjima qilinglar savolni, o'zingizdan so'ranglar. Boat ataylabdan buzilganmi? Ha bo'lsa true yoki yes, yo'q bo'lsa false yoki no. Bilmadim. Может ataylab buzilgandir, может o'zi buzilib qo'ygandir bo'lsa not given. All right? Archaeologists went back to the site to try and find the missing northern end of the boat. Tarjima qiladigan bo'lsak, arxeologlar went back to the site degani o'sha joyga qaytib borishdi. Чтобы найти, like to try and find, harakat qilish uchun, topish uchun qayiqni shimoliy qismini, tipa shimoliy qismi qolib ketgan o'sha joyda, olish olmagan. O'sha joyga arxeologlar qaytib borishdimi o'sha narsani olish uchun degan savol. Ha, qaytib borishdi, true. Yo'q, borishmadi, false. Может borishgandir, может borishmagandir, bilmadim bo'lsa, not given. So, let's read the second part below the line, and you have only 1 minute to get the answer. 1 minute to read, and we're going to get the answer together. I'll remind the question. Arxeologlar qayiqni qolib ketgan shimoliy qismini topish uchun o'sha joyga qaytib borishdimi? Did archaeologists go back to the site to try and find the missing northern part of the boat? Can we start analyzing now? Yeah? Raise your hand if you think it's true. Raise your hand if you think it's true. Raise your hand if you think it's false. Raise your hand if you think it's not given. Good job, guys. This was false. This is false. Now, let's analyze and let me prove why. It also starts with the last sentence, with the last part of this, like first part. The possibility of returning to Dover to search for the boat's unexcavated northern end was explored. So, o'sha joyga borish va qazib olinmagan northern endni topish possibilitysi paydo bo'ldi, explore bo'ldi. Possibility bor. But bo'ldi, bu yo'qni o'qish shart emas. But bormi? Imkoniyat paydo bo'ldi, ammo o'qib qo'yamiz. Baribir o'qiymiz endi, men aytmoqchimanki, o'shani o'zi ham javob bo'lardi. Practical and financial difficulties were insurmountable. Let's say I don't know the word insurmountable. I don't have any Google Translator there, right? And there was no guarantee that the timbers had survived the previous decade in the changed environment. Insurmountable ni boshidagi ini buni negative so'zligini bizga tushuntirib turibdi o'zi. To'g'rimi? O'sha northern endni topish imkoniyati paydo bo'luvdi, ammo amaliy va financial moliyaviy qiyinchiliklarini nimadir qilib bo'lmadi. Nimadir qilib bo'lmadi. Men bilmayman bu so'zni nimaligini. Hozir men guess qiladigan bo'lsam, yengib o'tib bo'lmadi. End deyaptimi? Значит, negativityni davom ettiradi yana. Negative argumentni davom ettiryapti end bilan. There was no guarantee that the timbers had survived. Yog'ochlari yashab qolganiga garantiya ham yo'q edi deyapti. Ham degan narsa bor bu yoqda, end. The previous decade in the changed environment, mayli yo'q, kerak emas bizga. Shu o'zgargan muhitda yog'ochlar saqlab qolinganmi, yo'qmi, u aniq bo'lmagan va amaliy financial muammolari insurmountable bo'lgan. Insurmountable bo'lganligini bilamiz. No, sezib turibmiz, что bu negativ so'z. Mana shundan o'sha biz false olamiz. Agar men hozir insurmountable ni bilmasam javobni ola olmayman. Unexcavatedni, yana anu qanaqadir bir timbermi so'zlarni bilmasam javobni ola olmayman deb qarab turaversa, ola olmaymiz unaqa. Hamma so'zni hech kim bilmaydi. O'sha 9 olgan ham hamma so'zni bilmaydi deyinglar. Nima qiladi? Guess qiladi. General meaning qanaqadir qilib chiqarib oladi o'shaning ichidan. Logikani ishlatib. All right? That's shortly about true false and given. So, outcome. Hamma so'zni bilish shart emas ekan. Main ideani chiqarib olsak, o'shani o'zi bizga yetar ekan. Main idea, true false da faqatgina bitta yoki ikkita gapdan olar ekanman. Juda ham chuqur o'ylab olmas ekanman. Lekin yes so'rayotganda sal chuqurroq o'ylar ekanman. Tepadan o'qib tushar ekanman pastga. Okay? True false da mana shunaqa bitta chast o'qiladi. O'sha u yog'iga sal logika ham ishlash kerak bo'ladi. Did you understand? Any questions? Shu uchun men nima demoqchiman? Savolda main argument arxeologlar realize qilganmi, yo'qmi bo'lmayapti. U prosta xuddiki multiple choice'da bizda boshlanadi-ku, it's stated deb ketadi, to'g'rimi? Qaramaymiz ham даже unga. Matching paragraphs to information da. A reference that a statement proving that, a statement showing, indicating that deb boshlaydi. Prosta ignore qilaveramiz-ku, to'g'rimi? Bu ham xuddi shunaqa narsa. True false not given'da biza faqatgina bitta joydan olishimiz kerak bo'ladi. Main argument hozir archaeologistsda emas, keyingi qismida. Deliberately o'zi kill qilinganmi yoki o'zi avariya bo'lib buzilib qolganmi degan savol hozir. Sizlar hozir juda ham chuqur o'ylayapsizlar. Sizlar hozir ikkita narsani mendan tekshirib o'ylayapsizlar, lekin yo'q, bunaqa emas. True false not given'da sal yengilroq. Yes or not given bo'lganda to'g'ri. Gaplari to'g'ri bo'lardi. Yes or not given men arxeologni topmasam haqqim bo'lmasdi true deyishga.
True false'da uncha chuqur o'ylash kerak emas dedingiz-ku?
Yo'q, uncha chuqur o'ylash kerak, chuqur kirib ketmaslik kerak savolning ichiga.
Xo'p, mayli, o'shanda olaylik. O'sha keyingi savolda o'qiyotganimizda bizda shunday bo'ldiki, ya'ni ular borishganmi, borishmaganmi, ya'ni hamma ma'lumotni bilish uchun deb topish kerak dedingiz-ku. Siz o'ylabsizki, faqatgina shu xayol keldi deb oxirgi 4-tekstdan aytdingiz. Lekin unda biz birinchi tekstda, birinchi savolda o'qidik, lekin to'g'ri IELTS olmaganman men, lekin tushunishim bo'yicha shuni tushundim. Birinchi savolda biz arxeologlar ataylabdan o'sha shikastlar yetkazganmi, yetkazmaganmi bildik. Men ana haqiqatda to'g'ri gapirdingiz. Ba'zi so'zlarni bilmaymiz, lekin bu yerdagi ikkinchi nuqtadagi gap birinchisiga bog'lab berdi. Keyingi savol berganingizda 2, 3, 4-savolni o'qidim. Orasidan ba'zilarini men o'zim anglay olmadim, lekin ba'zi bir so'zlarni bir-biriga bog'ladimda, har bir tekstdan bittadan so'zni olganda ham o'sha chiqdi. Faqat ikkitagina so'zga emas, men mana shuni taklifini bermoqchi edim. Har bir tekst berilyaptimi? Har bir tekstdan bitta alohida so'zni oldida bir-biriga bog'lab, ana shu true false ni chiqarish ham mumkin.
Tekst deb sentence nazarda tutyapsiz, to'g'rimi? Gapni nazarda tutyapsiz, tekst deb. To'g'ri. Gapni, ya'ni hamma so'zini bilmasa ham chiqarib olsa bo'ladi,
chiqarib bo'ladi. Har bir tekstdan bittadan so'zni olib bir-biriga bog'lash kerak.
Yes, partlardan deylik shuni. Gapni partlaridan qanaqadir bitta-ikkita so'zni olsak ham o'z general meaning chiqarib olsa bo'lar ekan demak. Yes, bunaqa narsa, bunaqa isbotlar ko'p. YouTube'da yana bitta menda bor edi, session bor edi, Thompson School'da bo'lgan session. Izlab ko'rsanglar bo'ladi. How to score 9 without dictionary mi? Shunaqaroq edi. O'tgan yil qilgandim bitta session. Unda bir butun boshli passage-ni umuman dictionary ishlatmasdan, men emas, o'quvchilarni vocabulary source-dan kelib chiqib, umuman dictionary ishlatmasdan qilganmiz. 1 soatmi, 1,5 soatlik video. Men bugun Telegram kanalimga tashlab qo'yaman o'shani sizlar uchun. Instagramga ham qo'yib qo'yaman istoriyada. Ko'rsanglar bo'ladi. Umuman dictionary ishlatmaganmiz. Bolalarni o'zini vocabulary'si meniki bilan emas. Ularni o'ziniki bilan 13 dan 13 topganmiz o'sha joyda. Bu narsa juda ham zo'r isbot bo'lib beradi, что biza 9 olishimiz uchun biza har bitta so'zni bilishimiz shart emas.
Okay, so there are 3 passages in reading, right? And we have like 2 types of questions, in order and out of order. And I think that in passage 1 we have only in order questions because they should be easier. And can it also be like that? Like yes or not again always comes in order. But if it in part 3 and in passage 3, can it also come out of order sometimes? No, right? Because I have seen like yes or not given mostly in passage 3 because it's more difficult than true false not given. And it seems to me like some questions can be out of order sometimes.
Well, that's about like 2 different types of yes or not given. Well, I mean, there are no 2 difficulty levels of yes or not given. Yes or not given is only given in the same way, in order. That's it. That's about the difficulty level of your book that you're doing. There are some books that are unreliable, not published by Cambridge, and in these books, yes or not given may be also given out of order. That's why, like, I'm stating again and again that you have to do practices and you have to take mock exams only with Cambridge sources. And this is the most reliable source that we can count on. But yeah, there are some books where true false is given also is given out of order. There are some books where sentence completion exercise is given out of order. But in Cambridge style, in your real exam, true false not given and yes or not given is always given in order, no matter what passage it is. Okay, whether it's in passage 2 or passage 3, it always comes in order. List of headings. Whenever it comes out of order. Matching paragraphs to information. Wherever it comes out of order.
Yeah. Can I give you another question?
Yeah.
I forgot the question.
Yeah. You can take some time.
Yeah. Okay. I remembered. Like, What was it?
Yeah, good memory.
Yeah, because you were talking and I was like, it's in my mind, and then I forgot it like after a second. Yeah, this one. If there are 8 questions in true, false, not given, let's say 8 questions, what's your approach? Because I heard that Cambridge tries to make a balance, like 3, 3, 2, 3 false, 3, true, and 2 not given. Can it be like that? The number of not given answers can be more than true, false?
Good question. The question I love. Well, let me elaborate on this question a bit. He's asking, if I have, let's say, 9 questions, do I have that balance of, let's say, two yes, 2 no, and 2 not givens, right?
Yeah, if 8 questions.
I'm not sure about that. This is just an assumption. And according to my own experience, yes, there is a balance in your real exam, and there is a balance in Cambridge format exams, like practice books. But I don't know. I cannot guarantee that in your real exam as well, this balance is kept, all right? Well, I don't know.
Okay.
But all old Cambridge books, starting from 1 to 17, follow this rule. All of them have that balance. Let's say if there are 4 questions, all of them have to be like found at least once, right?
Yeah, because like if there are 8 questions, it's easier to find the 8th one, because like 3 through 2, 2 will be like the left one. It will be like, if you solve 7 of them, so the 8th one will be like easy to find, because you have nothing to left.
But sometimes IELTS loves to confuse students, right? In your real exam, you may be confused with the same approach, right? That's why I'm not sure. But when it comes to the practices that you are doing currently for IELTS preparation, it works. But I'm not sure whether it works in your real exam or no.
Yeah, I have tried it, but it worked, I mean.
In real exam?
Yeah.
What was the score?
8.
You're good. It works then. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you as well. Any other questions? No? All right. Let's learn some 20 more strategies. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Well, I could see your face expressions. Any questions about IELTS? Any questions about IELTS reading?
So you say that IELTS reading is factual, right? It's not fiction. What about writing? I mean, task 1, is it also fictional or like factual? Because like bar charts, line graphs, are they factual? Are they based on true story or what?
Well, I'm not sure. When it comes to, let's say, map, I don't think they are factual.
What about like the bar charts? The bar chart shows something.
Just Google it. I don't know. I have never Googled it. I have never thought about it. But if you Google, you'll find out. Okay. And let us know the answer, okay?
In task 1, you know, guys, determining whether the given information is factual or fictional is not our job, right? Our job is just, you know, describing what's given and that's it.
Yeah. We just have to show the like statistics, show the comparison, show the trend, show the changes. Yeah. But in reading, that makes sense. In reading, that like changes your approach, right, to 180 degrees. Like you start seeing the bright side of IELTS. You start seeing that it's making you more intelligent. You start seeing that this is something that you can enjoy. Yeah, it matters. But in task 1, yeah, I don't know.
Behruz, you talked about loving reading, right? How can we tell our students to love reading? Like, you know, reading is sometimes so hard for my students. Not only for my students, actually for some of, you know, IELTS candidates. That's why how person can force himself or herself to love reading.
Good question. Good question. Really good. Really actual question. Well, have you ever read about this ADHD that we have discussed now? No. You have never even known that there is something named ADHD that exists in us, right? We have never thought about that. And we may make the students understand, feel that these passages are necessary not for their IELTS score, but for their lives. Like, they are important, they are significant, they have signs in their like future life. And I ask my students to read and retell the passages. Yeah. The reading and retelling improves your comprehension level and makes you more intelligent in life. That's why, like, first of all, before starting IELTS, before starting listening, before starting reading, we have to explain them what is IELTS, what to expect from IELTS, what are the benefits of IELTS. And I think in this way, they start realizing that this is something that is so useful, will be beneficial for their lives, and will start like accepting this knowledge like ADHD and applying to their own lives. And if you apply everything that you're reading to your life, believe me, your life is going to change to a very bright side. You're going to enjoy your life.
Thank you very much.
Well, it seems like you two are competing, right? Who can ask like more questions? Yeah.
Okay, it's about writing again. So I have like some kind of misconception about writing criteria of task 1 and task 2. I heard that like if you get like task response 8, grammatical range and accuracy 8, let's say, pronunciation, coherence and cohesion 8, and the last one will be 7. It's going to be 7.5 rather than 8, because 31 it's going to be 31. So why is it like that?
You mean for like sections
3, 8.
of assessment criteria don't weigh equally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. We had a very good mentor, Astrorake, like who works in Navai now, and he was one of the like people in Uzbekistan who scored 8 in writing back in 2018. He just don't have like any PR like hype as we have today. That's why like no one knows about him. His score in 2017, 2018 was 8.5 with 8 in writing. And what he said was, I don't think that all these four sections of criteria weigh equally. Okay. Well, maybe task achievement, task response weighs more than your lexical resources, or weighs more than your grammatical range and accuracy.
So it's a big lie.
Yes, maybe, but I'm not sure. Like I don't know. No one knows.
Everyone knows that in order to improve our reading skills and of course comprehension skills, we gotta read a lot of articles and books. And can you, how can I say, explain us how to read articles wisely and don't waste our time? Because whenever I wanted to read some articles or how can I say books, I just got my Google Translator and start translate every single word and got bored very fast. And can you teach us some methods maybe?
Yeah, good question. Well, I'm going to answer this question in like 2 ways, all right? Like I'm going to answer 2 questions out of this one main one. Who thinks and who has like at least heard that listening to podcasts and reading articles improves your listening and reading?
I think every single IELTS candidate heard it.
Well,
at least one time.
Yeah, let me tell you something that frustrates you, disappoints you a lot. As a person who has scored 9 in both listening and reading, I have almost never read any article before my IELTS exam, and I have never ever listened to any podcast in English. I tried, but I couldn't understand that. Why should I spend time for something that I don't understand and for something that's so struggling? Like I don't think that this is a very good strategy for improving your listening and reading skills. Do what you love, do what you can, and do like according to your level. If your level is B1 or B2 now, there is no need to listen to C2 podcasts or to read C2 articles. All right? That's my personal point of view. Maybe I'm mistaken, but as a person who has scored 9 in both of these sections, listening and reading, I have never done this. Or I even never asked my students to read articles, but like their scores are like quite decent. And I usually read something that I was interested in. I would read a lot of stories, like novels, and they helped me. Second, please Whenever you're doing reading passages, IELTS reading passages, don't use Google Translator. Or, I don't know, like that Yandex translator, right? Don't use translator with artificial intelligence. This is artificial, all right? This intelligence is artificial. Your brain is more capable, more powerful than all these translators. Use just dictionaries to translate single words, not in-text sentences, all right? Using Google Translator, or let's say that Yandex translator, is misleading. Okay? Please translate single words, but not sentences, not whole paragraphs.
Thank you. And I think so that your first opinion is right, because my teacher said that listening to podcasts is the most, how can I say, reliable way to improve your listening. But I hated it and I didn't do it because I just watched that YouTube TV shows or YouTube shows of Steve Harvey, and I know that my group mates struggled. My group mates struggled at 4.5 and 5 at listening, but
listen to a lot of podcasts, right?
Yeah. They do every single thing that teacher said, but I didn't do it. But
your teacher is right. Your teacher is totally right. Podcasts help when you love it, when you're interested, and when you can understand it.
Yeah.
If I play C2 level French, Japanese podcast, you don't understand that, right?
No.
So it means like you're not benefiting from that. Like there is no use of doing it, okay? But if I play, let's say, A1 Japanese podcast, and I give you, let's say, some words that can be found in this podcast, then it can increase improve your knowledge, all right? Okay. But listening to something that's above your capabilities, or reading something that's above your, let's say, vocabulary is, I think, useless. Yeah, that's just my personal point.
Thank you for that point.
Can you please pass the mic?
Good afternoon, everyone. So I wanted to ask that it's not only about the IELTS reading or something. I just wanted to ask, do you feel that nowadays more students are like, say, getting higher scores than back in the days? So it has been like so many years that you are teaching all of us, and you have so much experience. And yeah, please.
No, go on.
Okay, I just wanted to ask that is it like now, is it easier to get high score than back in the days?
Let me ask Shohrukh to answer this question. Can you please ask your question like again?
Mr. Shohrukh, so do you think that getting higher score in IELTS has become much easier than back in the days?
And more common?
Yes, it has become much easier because of the available opportunities. Back then, as Rustam told you, there were no such master classes going on here. You wouldn't be able to see a Band 9 test taker from the reading section giving you a master class that will all be paid. And in that case as well, it would be really hard to find such people. But now, it's all open. We have people scoring Band 8.5s. And because of the better availabilities of being taught and of finding, in an easier way, like tutors who can share the knowledge, and for students as well, it has become a lot more common. Just look at the statistics, bro.
Thank you for your answer.
The reason why I asked Shohrukh to answer this question was we have been discussing this recent trend of getting 8.5s by most of the candidates, IELTS candidates, and I think that there is a positive correlation between the opportunities that are being created and the media. So you can see now cool teachers on Instagram, let's say Barno Muqim, or let's say Shohrukh Bek.
And you also.
No, not me. I'm almost out of IELTS now. Well, and you can benefit from them, right? So you can see what actually is IELTS Writing 8. I think most of you know Alisher and Muhammad Ali Post's channel, right? Yes. Alisher and Muhammad Ali, both of them have solid IELTS Writing 8. They have scored Writing 8 several times in a row. So it doesn't mean that this is only by chance, but they have solid IELTS Writing 8. So you can see it, thanks to the media. You can see some cool teachers, like you can work with them now. You can write to their Instagram accounts, right? Or you can benefit from their Telegram channels. So, respectively, the number of successful IELTS candidates and the average score is increasing. Yeah, that's a good trend.
One more question is also that can it is that a possibility that the number of also 9-band students and people will also increase? By the time,
you mean 9?
Yeah. By that, you said that there's a positive correlation. Can it be that high that lots of people from Uzbekistan will also get 9?
Yeah. Do you mean overall 9?
Yeah. Because I think everybody will agree with me that all of the youth are looking positive about this. Everybody wants a 9.
Yeah, everybody wants that 9, but I think that's almost impossible to score 9, especially in Uzbekistan. But some people are too close. Begzodaka, Mirahmedov, Muhammad Ali, Sodikov, that guy that works with Alisher. They are so close to 9, but I don't think that 9 can be seen in upcoming several months.
Let me tell you something. Have you heard of the 10-second barrier? That was back in 20th century. In racing, in running. So there was the case that up until 20th century, no one could ever run 100 meters of racing in 10 seconds or less. And then one guy there came in and he beat the score. And in the same year, if I'm not mistaken, in the same year, 4 other guys beat the score. So which means that I believe that once one person gets a band 9 here in Uzbekistan, then other people will follow and will all just increase. So it's a matter of just breaking that ice, the barrier.
Okay, thank you both of you for your answers.
Yeah, Shohrab gave a very good answer, and I remembered Uzbek people being accepted to Ivy League universities. When I had an interview with Abdulaziz Sharopov, whose brother is one of the first people, the first Uzbek person who was accepted to Yale with full scholarship. This is just insane. And he said that once an Uzbek guy was accepted to Ivy League University, it has become much easier and more common. We have Rustam this year who was accepted to Yale, who was just 19 years old, if I'm not mistaken. Firdaus, Rustam, once that ice was broken, it has become more common.
So do you think that the British Council and IDP authorities are just afraid of getting the band 9
I don't know. They're just myths. No, I don't know. Please don't ask me this type of questions. I don't know.
Excuse me. I think that do all IELTS candidates should read fast? Fast reading. Is it important?
No, I don't think that reading fast is important, but reading wisely is important. So, as I told you earlier, you have to try to read each paragraph once only, and this should suffice. And in this case, you can make sure that you can catch up with time. But if you're reading paragraphs more than once, there is a very high probability of lagging behind the time.
Assalamu alaikum. I wanted to ask about self-study. Can I improve my reading skills without teacher by using your strategy? And because, as you mentioned in the beginning, about myths, I also tried by YouTube, and none of them works for me.
Yeah.
And just like expert, I need your advice about self-study. Can I improve my reading skills? Because in 2015, I've got 6 in reading. Now, I want to retake.
Yes. Why not? You can.
Okay.
You can. And this is this is easier, much easier than, let's say, 2015, all right, nowadays, because as we said, these experts are more accessible now. You can write to their Instagrams, write telegrams, you can ask for help, you can ask for a suggestion, or you can, let's say, give them your problem and seek solutions. Yeah, you can. And Marifat Jamal is a very good instance, very good example of getting 8 from IELTS without a teacher, just by self-studying. When I had an interview with her, I was so surprised to know that she just studied general English in the learning center, and then 8 was achieved without any teacher, just by self-studying.
Can you repeat the name?
Marifat Jamal. Like almost, whole Uzbekistan knows her, right?
I've never heard about her.
I think you don't have any Instagram account, right?
Можно на русском, да?
Да, конечно.
Ну, согласно вашей презентации, то, что вы выступили, я поняла, что, значит, сдать сначала перед экзаменом, например, на reading section, нужно прочитать полностью текст, например, желательно, да? А вот у меня вопрос, например.
Не желательно, а обязательно.
Обязательно, да, извиняюсь. А упражнения, то есть вопросы, которые будут даны уже к IELTS, это нужно, по вашему мнению, выполнять по порядку, либо, например, от конца начинать? Вопросы там, например, true, false, или там найти причину или найти правильный ответ.
Зачем от конца?
Ну, потому что как, я не сдавала IELTS, поэтому я спрашиваю. Например, кому-то начинать, вот дается, например, текст, да? Как мне говорит преподаватель, сначала прочитай быстро ответы, понять, о чем этот текст, то есть понять примерно, не читая, а потом уже прочитать и найти правильный ответ, так легче. Вот как вы думаете, это нужно по порядку выполнять, либо с конца, ну, или как удобно? Или как удобно? Спасибо.
She's asking, like, in what order do we have to accomplish the exercises and the questions in the exercises, right? Well, actually, as I told you, you have to read the passage from the beginning till the end once. You have to, okay? And that depends on the type of exercise. If it's in order, you have to read only first questions. In true, false, not given, first 2 questions, because the first one may be not given. Read the first questions and don't even waste your time by reading second, third, fourth, fifth, or sixth. If you have out of order exercises, don't read anything, because you don't know which comes first. And this is physically impossible to remember all 6 or 7 questions there in out of order exercise. That's why, like, read the first part of the passage, 1 paragraph, if that's small, 2 paragraphs, come back to the exercise, read the first question, read your out of order questions, just scan whether any of them are given. If given, take the answer. If not given, just like forget about this paragraph that you have written, that you have read, and move to the next one. So it means like you have to do everything in order if the exercise is given in order. You don't have to read the question first if that comes out of order. You have to read the paragraph first and then come to out of order and see whether any of them are given.
Thank you so much.
So questions like, mostly in 40th questions in reading, in the last question of reading passage 3, we have such kind of question like,
choose the best title.
Which title describes the whole passage? And what's your approach? I mean, should we read the whole passage, or should we, like, what should we do?
I would ask the same question from her. Did you understand the question? IELTS reading passage 3, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39 are usually yes or not given questions that require you to read not individual sentences, but areas. But let's say the combination of several sentences, plus the last sentence is usually in your real exam, choose the best title for the passage, all right? So in this way, the method that your teacher is suggesting is just, don't use this word, doesn't work, okay? It doesn't work. That's why, as I told you, you have to read the whole passage. And there is a very good strategy. There is a very good, a secret that most people hide is that those successful IELTS takers, especially with those with a high score of reading, try to extract and write down the general meaning of each paragraph while they are reading. It helps them to locate the area quickly, and it helps them in list of headings, in matching paragraphs to information, and in the exercise that you're asking. Multiple choice, choose the best title.
Okay. What can you say about STEM strategy? STEM.
STEM.
Yeah, STEM. It's like the thing which you say, like give a question to yourself, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I heard one thing that in reading passages, there is such kind of strategy, like 70% of your answer will be in the topic sentence. I mean, in the first, sentence. 20% at the conclusion, and 10% at the middle.
I don't believe that. No, I don't believe that. Because each question is individual. Some questions ask you to find the detail, some questions ask you to find the best title out of the whole passage. Some questions ask you to find general meaning that is hidden in 3 sentences, sometimes in 4 sentences, sometimes in 6 sentences. Like, we don't know them. There is no stereotype.
What do you think, what triggered IELTS to become so popular rather than TOEFL or SAT or other exams?
Good question. Good.
Like,
good
why IELTS is so popular comparing to others?
Good. Very good question. Any ideas why? Like, why is IELTS the most popular test to be taken? Why not SAT? Why not TOEFL? Why not
GMAT?
TESOL is not the test. No. Huh? Price? No. Like SAT is $100. Yeah, IELTS is $200, right? Yeah, we have Duolingo, $50, right? Huh? It's not easy.
Our high score, you have to have a high, how can I say, language level, and that's why I think the IELTS one of the popular tests.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. But let me tell you this: the like exact reason why IELTS is preferred by most organizations rather than, let's say, SAT, TOEFL, GMAT, GRE, or something, because IELTS is the most fairly designed test. That's totally fair. CFR that's developed in Uzbekistan is like, I don't think that's fairly designed. I'm sorry, Rustam Aka. But IELTS, like, take listening, for example. Listening puts you in like all possible situations that you can face when you travel to, let's say, England to study. So it puts you in an everyday question or answer session, right? Everyday dialogue in section 1. Then when you, let's say, go to a university for the first time and your mentor or facilitator explains you the whole area, the whole campus. Section 2. Section 3, when you have to work with other students, right? When you have a group assignment, when you have coursework to accomplish. Section 3. When you sit in an academic lecture at the university. Section 4. Okay? That's why I think IELTS is so popular all around the world, and unfortunately we have to stop our Q&A session at this point because yeah, we have some like time limits, right? I hope that I could answer most of your questions, and those who have very urgent questions may ask after this session, all right? And let me pass the stage to Shohrukh Bek again. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Behruz, thank you for your wonderful tips. And guys, as he told you, if you have any questions left, you can approach him personally after the event. And let me know one thing as well. So next event is going to be led by Dilshad Rafshanov, the writing expert. Behruz, do you know about him? Can you please share some information?
Yeah, we have worked with Dilshad for about like 3 or 4 years. Dilshad Bek also is one of the people in Uzbekistan who has scored solid 9 in speaking for like 3 or 4 times in a row, 3 times if I'm not mistaken, and he has IELTS writing 8 twice or 3 times in a row. So he has this like solid 8 and solid 9s in writing and speaking. And next time, so God willing, Dilshad Bek is going to deliver a very effective, a very useful session about writing. Task 1. And
so yeah, that's going to be fire. A band 8, that's great. Great, so this is nearly the end, but before we get to that part, Rustam Aka, can you please come to the stage and let the founder to give you a closing speech, guys.
Once again, didn't you get bored? No. Reading might sound a bit boring, but it's really the cornerstone of all the subjects. Yani reading zerikarli bo'lishi mumkin, lekin men o'zim shu IELTS o'rganayotgan paytimda shu weak tarafim reading edi, tan olaman. Lekin hozir vaqtlar o'tgani bilan mana qariyb 10 yil bo'libdi. CELT olganimga ham, IELTS olganimga ham tushunib yetdim, har bir narsada bu reading juda katta narsa. Faqat nafaqat til o'rganayotganinglarda, balkim umumiy men universitetga kirganimdan keyin bizga universitetda o'qiyotganlar bormi? International University'da o'qiyotganlar, xalqaro Westminster, Singapore. Endi men o'zimizdan universitetda o'qimaganman, o'qib ko'rmaganman. Men Malayziyada o'qiganman, bu yoqqa Singapurskida marketing business management bitirgan edik. O'sha paytda hozir ham shunaqa bo'lsa kerak, mid-term degan narsa bo'lardi, oraliq nazorat, kitob beradi, katta-katta to'rli. Uni 3 oy, 2 oyda bitirib chiqish, ya'ni ekzamen topshirish uchun o'sha kitobni bitirib chiqish kerak bo'ladi. Ya'ni bu har kuni o'qisangiz, ertadan kechgacha u kitobni tugab chiqish mumkin. Lekin aksariyat men o'zim tugab chiqa olmas edim, chunki men o'sha paytda ishlashga majbur edim, chunki kontraktni yopishim kerak edi, ham o'qishim kerak edi. Nima qilganmiz? Tipslardan foydalanganmiz. Ya'ni speed reading, scanning, skimming, ya'ni u readingni bilasizlar, o'shunaqa tipslar bor. Ya'ni readingga nima deydi, sevib o'rganishni sevganman. Ya'ni o'sha narsani harakat qilganman, do'stlashishga. Misol uchun bir xil aytadiki, matematikani bilmayman. Matematikani shunchaki bilmaysizmi yoki bilishni xohlamaysizmi? Ya'ni ikkita savol bo'ladi-da o'zi. Menda ko'p bolalarda ya'ni ikkinchisi, ya'ni bilishni xohlamayman. Bilishni xohlashda emas. Agar do'stlashishga harakat qiladigan bo'lsa, ya'ni weak tarafdan qo'rqish kerak emas. Aynan o'sha tarafga ko'proq urg'u berish kerak. Misol uchun, ommani oldida chiqishga uyaladimi odam? Chiqib gapirish kerak. Keyingi safar men hech o'ylamaganman o'zim. Ommani oldida chiqib gapirishga juda qo'rqardim. Menda shunaqa narsa shakllanmagan, chunki men bitta katta farzand bo'lganman. Onamlar bilan katta bo'lganman, qo'rqardim. U qaysi ishxonada ishlashinglardan qat'iy nazar harakat qilinglar, odamlar bilan muloqot qilishga. O'shanda ham o'zi speakingda deydi, reading mavzu bo'lganiga qaramasdan men aytaman, speakingim bir xil past, ya'ni fluencyimda ko'p pozlar bor, ko'p larni ishlataman, ya'ni deb o'ylab ko'p ishlarni ishlataman deydi. O'zi odam o'zbek tilida qanaqa gapirsa, ingliz tilida ham o'sha ta'siri bor. Harakat qilish kerak, o'zi ko'proq reading to'g'ri tonda o'qib, menimcha Behruz ham rozi bo'lsa kerak bu narsaga, to'g'ri tonda ko'proq o'qishga va ovozni chiqarib o'qishga. Bu narsa ham o'zingizlarning listeningga ketadi. Listening eshitasizlar, ham vocabularyni to'g'ri pronounce qilasizlar, talaffuzingizga ketadi. Ham bu narsa speakingga ham o'z o'rnida juda katta yordami bor. Bu bizani oz bo'lsa-da tajribamizdan o'tgan narsa. O'shanga men o'zimni zo'r kitobxonni bilmayman, yolg'on gapirmayman. Hozirgi kunlarda kuniga 20 bet, 30 bet bo'layotgan bo'lishi mumkin o'qiyotgan kitobim. O'qiyotgan kitoblarimdan biri bu o'zbek tilidagi kitob. Bir varrolik, yanglishmasam, bir varrolik marketing qog'ozi degan, reja degan Asahiyni tarjima qilgan kitoblardan biri. Juda qiziq kitob. Harakat qilinglar, qanaqa kitob bo'lishidan qat'iy nazar har kuni verdinglar bo'lsin, ya'ni vazifanglar bo'lsin, kitob o'qinglar. Va ruxsat berasizlar Behruzga yoshlar agentligining nomidan, Alisher Sa'dullayev nomidan va bizning jamoamiz Master Class nomidan kichkinagina bir sovg'achamiz bor edi. O'shani bir Behruzga topshirsa degan edik, qarsanglar bilan. Speaker bilan audience o'rtasidagi narsa biz, ya'ni speaker sifatida qattan ruhlanamiz. Odamni bari biladi-yu, aura. Qiziqib o'tiribdi, haqiqatan qo'llab-quvvatlayapti. Ya'ni ichidan energiya chiqayotganda bari speaker maza qilib gapiradi. O'shanga bizani qo'llab-quvvatlab tursanglar, biz harakat qilamiz. Bu yoqda mo'ljallarimiz bor, hali debatlar o'tkazishga. Spelling bee, quizlar. Chunki IBRATda loyihalardan biri bu. Hali IBRAT tillar oromgohi ham davom etadi. Juda ko'p loyihalarimiz bor. O'shanga aktivniy bo'lib bersanglar, billa hamkorlikda ishlaymiz. Hozir esa biza Master Class Certificate of Appreciation'ni topshirishga bir ruxsat bersanglar, Behruzbek. Ichida kitob bor. Reading bo'lganiga mavzuyimizda aynan kitob berdik. Qani Behruzni o'zlari isbotlasinlar. Shu kitobni beramiz, chisloni ko'ramiz. Bugun nechinchi chislo? 16-chislo bo'lsa, qani qaysi haftada, qaysi oyda tugatib berar ekanlar. Behruz o'zlari isbotlab bir balkim istoriya qilganlarda sizlar bilan she'r qilarlar. Hali kitob nomini aytmadim. Behruz o'zlari bir aytib bir she'r qilsalar biz xursand bo'lamiz. Shundagina bir chunki speaker o'zi qilayotgan narsani, o'zi amal qilayotgan narsani sizlarga gapirsa, u ilm yuqadi. O'shanga mana Behruzdan ham kutib qolamiz. Rozimisizlar shu narsaga? Stories ko'rasizlar, обязательно mana hamma bolalar aytyapti. Behruz, kattakon rahmat. Behruz, salomat bo'linglar. Hammaga ming marta rahmat. Xohlasanglar bitta общий shohruq rasmga tushamiz.
Group photo обязательно.
IBRAT is the best.
Hammaga rahmat. Keyingi akshamni kutib qolamiz hamma.